All right. Welcome back to another edition of Guys Talking Guy Talk with EJ and Ryan. It's your boy Ryan right here. What's going on, brother?
What's up, bro? How the day going for you?
Ah, man, you know how it is. Just living life. Just living life. Uh,
All right.
what you got on your mind today, sir?
So today we talking about I overheard a conversation in a TikTok live, and it was talking about how most men today are feminine
Mm-hmm.
because of them being vulnerable, too vulnerable. So that's what I had today. I want to talk about that today. Like I asked a few people and I got more reviews on it's not feminine or it's not men are considered weak because they're vulnerable. In other words, it shows like a man's strength because he's able to be vulnerable and speak on his feelings. Whereas I seen some other posts or some other comments where people was like, men shouldn't be vulnerable because that is a sign of weakness. So I feel like when men are being vulnerable, it shows their strength because a lot of men aren't able to be vulnerable. A lot of men ain't able to open up and be open and talk about their feelings and talk about things that concern them. And that's a lot of the problems that you see today. So, like, I didn't personally agree with that take that those people had, but I felt like it's something that we could discuss today.
Yeah. So what do you think like that makes it a strength? A man being vulnerable. When you say vulnerable, actually let me backtrack a little bit. When you say vulnerable, what do you mean by a man being vulnerable?
Like, a man being able to be open and honest with his feelings. And so, like, some men ain't able to open up and be open with their feelings because some men feel like they get criticized for it. Or some men feel like that's a sign of weakness because of what they hear from the outside world. So I feel like being vulnerable is you being able to open up, speak on your feelings on how you feel and not being afraid to do it. But nowadays, if let's look at it like this. How many men do you or how often do you hear or see men being open about how they feel, like toward on their feelings?
So if it's I guess it depends on the circle of people because you won't just catch dudes just, probably if they are just like in a group of guys where they feel comfortable to where they don't feel like they're gonna be judged, they might. But if it's like a mixed crowd of men and women, they probably just keep it to themselves. They'll probably just suffer in silence, and that could be very detrimental to themselves because that might end up exploding, in their face later on, whether it be professionally or personally. But me, I don't think for me, I can only speak for me. I don't think it'll be hard for me to be vulnerable because I it's easy for me to open up to you or to anybody that's willing to listen if I feel like I need uh a venting session, then I'll be like, I'll just it's easier for me and I wouldn't feel like I'm being scrutinized because I'm able to have that safe space to be like, man, I'm just been going through it and I feel safe saying that because it's all based on the trust thing.
So have you always been able to open up though? I want to ask you that question.
Yeah, like it's I've never had an issue opening up or being vulnerable when it comes to certain aspects of my life because like some stuff I've gone through, I know it's been plenty of people that's gone through some of the similar situations. So it wouldn't be that hard for me to be like, man, I just need to get this off my chest. then I could be like, okay, what do you think about the situation? Because I might be looking at it in a uh whole different light compared to somebody that's looking on the outside looking in. They might be able to give me some better advice than what I'm giving myself, you know what I'm saying? So no,
Mhm.
it's never been hard for me because I've never been in a situation where I had to be hard all the time or I had to be manly all the time. So it's never been that hard for me.
So I think that's the problem with most men today because it's they don't have an outlet.
Hmm.
You know, like they don't have that safe space. Even when you're around certain friends, like when you see how certain friends how they operating, if they coming off as tough, sometimes you don't want to be that person that open up and come off as vulnerable because we all know how peer pressure is. We know how some of the guys can be when they really like that. Like, you know, they like to laugh and joke. And when it comes to like your feelings, like a lot of people don't like to be laughed at and joked on when it comes to their feelings because sometimes it, you know, when you in your feelings, that's a sensitive moment.
Hmm.
So a lot of people don't have that safe space. Like even me coming up, I didn't feel like I had that safe space to be able to open up because I always cared about what people thought when I was younger. So plus I was easily influenced too. So depending on who I was around, I would act according to the people that I was around.
Yeah.
So like me coming up, that wasn't I was afraid of being vulnerable because I didn't want to come off as being weak. So being on both sides of it, like now knowing what I know now, like I'm able to open up and express myself, especially to the people that I feel like understand. Like it's easier talking, like because like if you open up to somebody who don't understand, it's like you don't want to continue to talk about it because they not understanding where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But you also have the people that do understand, and I feel like those are the people that you go to, the ones that can understand. They don't necessarily have to always relate, but they hear you out and they understand what you're talking about, and they give you that safe, space without judgment. So so knowing what I know now versus what I didn't know back then, it's easier now to open up because now I don't care about what people think.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My feelings are my feelings, and I'm not afraid to be open about how I feel because somebody else's opinion don't matter. But most men now, I don't what yeah, most men now like they like you said earlier, they are too tough. You know, they do care about what people think about. They don't have that safe space. So I feel like that's what's wrong. And then with the women nowadays, who are being some of the women, not all, some of the women who are being outspoken about men being in their feelings and coming off as feminine, that makes dudes don't want to open up even more. So it's like you kind of think like when are men gonna stop caring about what people are saying and actually open up and release their feelings? Because that's like if that right there, bro, like the suicide rate then went up because of things like that, men not being able to open up. So that's a whole different situation in itself.
We got as a community of men, we have to let them know, hey, it is okay to break down,
Yeah.
to have that time to vent, even if it's not particularly talking with somebody. If you want to just write it down and burn it up or throw it away, have some kind of way to release some of that stress that's on your mind, because that could be very damaging. That could mess with your psyche, and you really don't want that, you know. And it'll be rough trying to recover from that once you do end up keeping it and it just explode, you only gonna be seen in there like, well, this dude crazy, this dude
Mhm.
temper. When that's not the case at all. This person just needed somebody or some type of outlet, but he didn't have it or didn't know how to get one because he kept it in. So he didn't uh go out seeking for it professionally or just one on one with a close friend or just somebody on the outside looking in. They didn't know how to get to it, so it explodes, and then he got that stigma of, well, this guy ain't no good. This guy, hot headed. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a a red flag for some people because they'll be like, well, he ain't no good. But I definitely would let anybody that needs to have a conversation. They can always, hey Ryan, hey, I need you, bro.
Mhm.
That's all you need, and I'm there. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
pretty much how I operate because I know how to listen. I know how to be open at the same time. You know what I'm saying, and not judge somebody
Yeah.
because they want to have a safe space to have a conversation.
And sometimes people don't even need you to answer them back. Like they just need you to listen.
Exactly.
It's plenty of times where I just listen to people, just listen.
Same.
Because a lot of times because they can't get their feelings off. You know what I'm saying? Like they need somebody level headed who gonna let them talk. And if they need a response, they gonna ask for it. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can make the situation worse by giving your opinion because it might not be the time to give your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But like people really do battle with that on a day-to-day basis, like struggling on the inside because they feeling one way, but they reacting in a totally different way because they afraid to release what's on the inside. And so that right there, like it's a dangerous thing, especially when you a man. Like it's easy for females to speak about their problems because women are more understanding when it comes to that department. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about, what the world think. They know they got somebody whenever they need them and they make that phone call. It could be the same situation, every other day. They know that that person going to be right there to hear them out and to listen. But with men, like at some point, men be like, look, we keep talking about the same thing every day. And like, you know, I'm tired of hearing it. So then that person be like, well, dang, I ain't really got nobody to open up to because I don't want to put my problems on nobody else. This man might be going through his own situation, and all I'm gonna do is just add on. So I'm gonna just, keep it on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And this a lot of men struggle with it. I struggle with it for the longest. And I ain't gonna lie, it ain't a good feeling. Like it lead to a lot of situations, strokes, heart attacks, like a lot of bad situations can come from keeping, like stress and anxieties you know, just keeping it in. But again, like men need safe spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like in this again, like it need more people like us to provide that safe space.
Mm-hmm. And if it's anybody ever in the chats or comments, I should say, if y'all need something, hey, just hit us up. Hey, we are two level-headed guys that know how to listen. You know what I'm saying? So we would appreciate, you taking the time out of your day to hit us up and be like, hey, we heard you. I'm here to talk. And one of us will be here to listen. You
Right.
know. Uh
But that's all I got for this episode.
that's all I got too, sir.
Yep. But again, we just encourage everybody to, you know, to live in your truth. Um, be around like-minded people, and level-headed people, positive people. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from the negative and Debbie Downers, as some people might say. But um, we also need to drop our TikTok in the description so people can follow us on TikTok. We go live on TikTok.
I got a as you can see in my background, I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's called Come Chill with Sumler. It's just like relaxing sounds, meditation music,
Boy
stuff
gone.
like that. Just a cheap
Boy
plug
gone.
quick.
Hey, you will fall asleep in your YouTube. Especially if you just relaxing and just chilling. Boy, been to
That's what it's
snoozed off.
for. That's what it's for.
But all right, sir. I think that's a wrap on this one. Good episode. I think we gave the people some news that they can use.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if y'all want to hear any other topics, just drop them in the comment section.
Oh yeah. Till next time, sir.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Later.